Hello students, in the last video we have seen the phylum Mollusca, the general characteristics and the physiological characteristics we have seen in two separate videos. So in this video we are going to start with the next phylum, actually the last phylum of the invertebrate, that is the phylum Echinodermata. Now what is the meaning? The word Echinodermata means, see, if you break this word, then you will get two parts. One is echino's and another is dermata. So what is the meaning of echino? That is spine. And derma means skin. So these organisms are going to have spines in their body, which is actually present actually it is suppose this is the species. Okay, so from the species, from inside the spines will come out. Okay, so this organism are going to have the endoskeleton, that is arise from the inside. Okay, they are embedded. Suppose if you think about your teeth, so teeth is embedded inside the socket, right? So similarly, in case of them also, the skin is not going to have superficial spines. So those spines will actually arise from beneath. Okay, so they're going to have endoskeleton. So this is one point you have to remember. Now come to the habit and habitat. So all these echinoderms, they are always free living. Now this organism, they never become parasite on some another species. So they are always, remember that, they are always free living. This organism do not include any species which are going to have some parasitic form. No, this organism do not have any parasite. Next characteristic, see the habitat where all the echinoderms live. So they are always marine. That means they are exclusively marine organism. Exclusively marine organism means these organisms, they never are found in the freshwater condition or terrestrial condition. They are always marine. Okay, all the species, they're found in only the seas and ocean, never in the freshwater condition or terrestrial condition. So this is the first point we have discussed, that is the habit and habitat. Now come to the next characteristics, that is about their symmetry. See, this second point is going to be important. Why? Because in case of this organism, they have actually one little underdevelopment. If you see the other species, they were bilaterally symmetrical, right? But if you see in case of echinoderms, the larvae, that means their juvenile form, they are only bilaterally symmetrical. But whenever all the larvae metamorphose to adult, they become only radial. So this is an important point about the symmetry, that their juvenile form, that is the larvae are bilaterally symmetrical organism. But if you see the adult, okay, then the adults were radially symmetrical organism. If you see in case of starfish, what happened? The organism have 5 arms, right? So they are going to be radially symmetrical organism. Now come to the next characteristics, that is about their level of organization. If it comes to their level of organization, it is so obvious. Earlier also, without any exception, you will get this point, that is level of organization. So that level of organization is organ system level of organization. Remember that, it is important. Now come to the next point, that is germ layer. How many germ layers are present? 3 germ layers. So they are mesoderm is present. Okay, so this is mesoderm that is present properly. So that's why the germ layer, they are 3. Outer, that is ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner endoderm. So that's why this organism are all triploblastic animals. Now come to the segmentation. Do they have segments? No. See, in the whole animal kingdom, you will get only 3 phylums which will show the segmentation, these characteristics. What are they? First one is phylum Annelida, which shows both external and internal segmentation. If you see the Arthropoda, this organism will have only external segmentation, and if you see in case of chordates, chordates are going to have only internal segmentation. But if you see in this organism, the segmentation, it is not found. So there is no segments. Okay. Now come to a very important point, that is coelom. So here this organism, they are coelomate, right? I told you that under the coelomate condition there were 2 different type of coelom, but were there? One is schizocoelom and another was enterocoelom. Now this is the first group of animal which have the enterocoelom. So this organism for the first time is enterocoelomic. Okay. Next one, if you see the body form, right? So if you see the next point, that is body form, see normally what we can able to see that they are either pentamerous, that means they are going to have 5 arms. Where it will be present, it is present in Asteraceous, or simply if you can tell, that is starfish. Okay. Now they can be globular like, suppose this way, these are like a globe like structure. So this is found in sea urchin, right? And they can be cylindrical like this. Okay, so where we will able to see this type of cylindrical characteristics, that is in sea cucumber. So these are just a general general name I have given. Scientific names are different. You just find it out, the scientific name by yourself. So all of the organism, they will have spines in their body. Okay, so spines will be present, but the body form, that can be either pentamerous or globulous or cylindrical. Okay, this is about their body form. I am talking about only the organisms which are in the adult stage, right? Next one, come to the body plan. Okay, so body plan is now been important. Why? Because yes, this organism have tube within tube body plan. This is there. So this is tube within tube body plan. Remember, in the tube within tube body plan, I told that there are 2 more divisions are there under the tube within tube body plan, that were prostomic and deuterostomic, right? So what is prostomic and what is deuterostomic? Prostomic means those organisms who form first of all mouth and then anus in their embryonic state. And deuterostomic organisms are those organisms which form first of all anus and then the mouth in their embryonic stage. That means whenever it is in the embryo and inside the egg, they will form the organ. From one cell it will form 2 cells, 2 to multiple cells. So what happened? They form first of all anus and then the mouth. So what type of evolutionary line they are going to have under the body plan? That is deuterostomic body plan. So under that deuterostomic body plan, you should know that they form first of all anus and then the mouth. Okay, in the embryonic stage itself. Now come to a very unique characteristics in case of the phylum, that is Echinodermata. So one thing I would like to tell you, see, this is suppose the skin, right? Now from inside, what is present, from the beneath, the spines will arise, right? And in between the 2 spines, there are triradiate like plate-like structures are present. Okay, so this way some plate-like structures are present. So these are known as pedicellary. Okay, and what is the function of pedicellary? That maybe it is possible, suppose these are the two spines, so in between the two spine maybe the sand they will get deposited. So what happened, those pedicellary they will help this organism to clean their body surface. If suppose some sand particle get entangled, then those sand particles will be removed by this pedicellary. Okay, remember that. Now come to a very unique characteristics, that is water vascular system. Now what is water vascular system? Water vascular system is just like the canal system. If you see in case of porifera, then you will understand that the organism have some pores, and from the pores the water will enter carrying lots of other things also, and from the water they will take the food and all and remove the water back into the environment. So same thing is happening in this group of animal also, that this organism have a specialized type of function characteristics. What is that? Vessel, a combination of vessels actually. What is that? That is water vascular system, or this is also known as ambulacral system. So this is known as water vascular system or ambulacral system. Now to see, this is the starfish, right? So inside the starfish, what is present? So just see, suppose this is the organism middle region, right? I have a section, okay, and whenever we have a section, then you will get a complete vessels, you will get a combination of all the vessels. So how those vessels look like, see, so these are going to have 5 more tunnel like structure this way. Okay, so this organism will have, okay, so this organism will have some type of system, some type of branches actually, like if you see in case of suppose drains, so they will have a drainage system. So this is one, okay, so this way they will have this type of system. Okay, these are actually all drainage system through which water can enter and exit. Okay, so I will draw a little less. Okay, let me draw first of all. So this is the water vascular system. I am drawing actually the lateral canals. Okay, so this is the lateral canal, here this is the ring canal. Okay, and this is completed. So they are going to have 5 arms, right? So this way they will be like that. So first of all, just see that in that organism, suppose from here, what will happen, that here some type of small, very small, minute plate-like structures are present. Okay, so I have just shown a separate, it will be present here in the middle, but I have just separated so that it can be visible to you. So what is that? This is one very small plate-like structure. What is that? This is known as madreporite, right? So madreporite is there, okay, around the ring-like structure. Okay, so this madreporite will lead a canal that is known as stone canal, right? So this is the stone canal. Then after that, the water, see, through the madreporite water will enter, it will pass through this stone canal, right? And from the stone canal, the water will enter into this canal, the ring-like canal. So what we can call, this is known as ring canal. From the ring canal, the water will go to all these arms, and whenever it is going to these arms, those arms, that 5 radiate structures you can see, so they are known as the radial canal, and from the radial canal, the water will go to the lateral canal, and from the lateral canal, the water will be removed outside by a specialized structure. So what is that? This is actually a tube-like structure. I will draw this way. See, this is the structure. Okay, so in every arm it will be present. So every arm it is going to present on all the arms. Okay, I have not drawn all this. So this is the structure, what we can call, this is known as tube fit. right? So what happened? Through the madrepore, the water will enter. It will reach the stone canal. From the stone canal, it will go to the ring canal. From the ring canal, it will come to the radial canal. From the radial canal, the water will go to the lateral canal. So these are the lateral canal I am drawing. This is lateral, this is radial, right? And from this lateral canal, water will remove outside through this tube fit. Okay, so this is the water vascular system. Now we will see what is the function of this water vascular system. So first of all, it will help this organism to move, to locomote. Now the thing is, whenever this organism propel the water, it will push the water, and in opposite direction they will able to get a movement, and this way this organism will move. This is just like a jet propulsion. So whenever this organism have to move, suppose in this direction, they will propel the water in the opposite direction. So that will be with the help of this tube fit. Okay, so this water vascular system or ambulacral system have a unique function. What is that? That is locomotion. They will propel the water in the opposite direction. In that direction we will move, that organism will move. The next one, that is capture of prey. So with the help of this, the water vascular system, they will also catch the prey. Next one, respiratory system. So this organism, yes, for this organism will have the proper gills. Yes, along with that they will also can get the oxygen that is in the dissolved state in the water. So what is that? That is the water vascular system. So we will see once again how the water will enter. So the movement will be from madrepore to the stone canal, from the stone canal to the ring canal, from the ring canal to the radial canal, from the radial canal to the lateral canal, and from the lateral canal, it will, with the help of tube fit, it will go outside. So it will perform all these three functions. Let's just see their physiological characteristics. After that, let us see the physiological characteristics of phylum Echinodermata. So first of all, let us see about their digestion. See, this organism, whenever it comes to this organism, suppose this face is facing the bottom and this surface is facing the top above. So that surface will be the ventral side and this surface, that will be the dorsal side. Okay, so this ventral side, that will be also known as oral side, and this dorsal side will be known as the aboral side. So this oral side will going to have a mouth and this aboral side will going to have a anus. So this organism, obviously digestion will be extracellular. We should not tell this, but if it is in case of the digestive tract, then the digestive tract will be complete. Okay, complete digestive tract. Okay, and this mouth is present on the ventral side. Okay, and the anus, that will be present on the dorsal side, right? So this is about their digestion. Now come to the next point, that is circulation. Circulation is a little bit important type of system. Why? Because rather we will call this as the circulatory system, we will call this is as hemal and perihemal system. So why it is called as hemal and perihemal system? Because in this group of animal, they do not have blood. Rather, they have a fluid of coelomic origin. That means from the coelom, a type of liquid is secreted and that will flow in the coelom. So what happened? That is going to be the hemal and perihemal system. And if we compare with open and closed circulation, then obviously there is no vessel present where the type of fluid even will not able to flow. It is flowing in the coelom itself. So what we can call it, this is the open circulation. Okay, so remember that they are going to be open circulation. If it comes to excretion, then for excretion, they do not have any specialized type of excretory organ. Rather, what they will do that from the food material, the digestion will take place, and after that the waste product, nitrogenous waste product, is produced that will be removed outside by just simple diffusion. Okay, so for excretion there is no specialized organ. Okay, so no specialized organ is there. Rather, what they're going to have, they will have just simple diffusion. So by diffusion they will remove the nitrogenous waste product. After that come to respiration. I already told you that for ambulacral system or water vascular system, that is actually resembling the respiration also, because with the water that is entering inside the body with that canals, water vascular system, then it will take the oxygen, dissolved oxygen also into the body. Otherwise, if you see in case of echinoderms, some of the organism will have gills for respiration, right? Now, after that come to the last point, that is about reproduction. So if it comes to reproduction, this organism are dioecious, okay? They will have separate male and female organism. Done. Next one, if it comes to fertilization, okay? So this fertilization will be external. Remember that it is external. Next one, come to development. Yes, they have larvae. I told larvae are present, and that's why the development is indirect. So I have given a chart of the organism. These are the classes, okay, and they are the names of larvae. Okay, so this is going to be very much important. You will get questions from the larval names. Okay, so the larvae are very much important. Let's just see. There are how many classes present? 5 classes in the phylum Echinodermata. Do not require the classes of the phylums of invertebrates, and you will need the classes of the that phylum Chordata. But yes, in the invertebrates, a little bit about this classes will be needed. Okay, that is only in the larvae. Don't make it unread or don't leave this part. So this is important. First of all, first class is Asteroidea. So in case of Asteroidea, there are 3 larvae present. What are they? That is Dipleurula, Bipinnaria and Brachyolaria. Okay, so 3 names of larvae are given. So what are they? Dipleurula, Bipinnaria and Brachyolaria. Second class, that is Echinoidea. That Echinoidea have the larvae, that is Echinopluteus. It is easy to remember. Next one, third one is Ophiuroidea, which is also easy to remember. The larva is Ophiopluteus. And the fourth class, that is Holothuroidea, which have the larva, that is Auricularia. And the fifth class, that is Crinoidea. So this Crinoidea have the larvae, that is Doliolaria. So these are the free-living bilaterally symmetrical organisms who actually swim by the cilia. They have the cilia all over the body. So these are the names of the larva. It's very easy to remember Echinoidea and Ophiuroidea because the larvae name are Echinopluteus and Ophiopluteus. So you have to remember only 3. What are they? Asteroidea, Holothuroidea and Crinoidea. So one more thing I would like to tell you, that in one class, that is Echinoidea. Okay, so in the Echinoidea, there is a specific question that is coming everywhere. You will get, there is a specific type of chitinous teeth-like structures are present, which is helping in grinding the food. Okay, so what is that chitinous structure present? See, in the class Echinoidea, they will have Aristotle's lantern. Okay, so Aristotle's lantern, is it what type of structure is that will help this organism to crush the food? Okay, so this is like radula in the phylum Mollusca, that is also a rasping organ which help in grinding the food. In phylum Echinodermata, there is a class that is Echinoidea, which have the larval stage Echinopluteus, and in that class the species will have a specific type of crushing organ, that is Aristotle's lantern, and that will help crushing the food and it is present on the mouth region. So that is the Aristotle's lantern. So these questions are going to be very much important. So there are three things are going to be very much important. What are they? From the cilium point, this is enterocoelomate. From the body plan point, the body plan, what was that? Tube within tube body plan, and under that they will have deuterostomic characteristics. Third important point is about their circulation. So about their circulation, what they are going to have? They are going to have the hemal and perihemal system, that is a little bit different, and the system will be what type? Open type. And yes, fertilization to a little extent, it is also important because fertilization is external here. And the next character which is going to be now very much important, about their class and their larvae. Name are very much important. Don't neglect it. This is going to be very much important from the NEET point of view. So this is all about the phylum Echinodermata. Hope all of you have understood. So that is about all the invertebrates. So we have completed actually all the invertebrates. We will see in the next video there is a in between species, and after that we'll see the last phylum, that is Chordata. So hope all of you have understood about Echinodermata. Thank you.